Good morning, my name is Kirsty and I'm here to look at the weekly energies with today's Monday's Musings, and I'm just going to dive on in and get on with it. And this week that feels really important, and the reason I'm doing that is because I am aware of where I'm at. I am aware that my dog has gone to the vets this morning, so energetically I am with him. I'm also here with this reading in this present moment, potentially looking into the energies for the whole week ahead, and aware of how grounded I can be in that, provided I don't stay for too long in one energy but keep returning to my own. And this week that feels really relevant to recognize what presence is through the absence of it. So what it really means to be present, not to be completely drowning and 100% involved in one thing, but to be present in our own energy, to be aware exactly where our energy is going, where this reading is going, where everything this week is headed, to have a insight, a structure, a light at the end of the tunnel to make sense of some of the things that are occurring. I'm very aware my phone may go at one point, and that's life, right? We can get into a flow of something and then be disrupted by communication that comes in that may need to come in. Recognizing that this week, recognizing even though there are aspects that may feel uncomfortable, out of place, oh gosh, I wish I didn't even have to think about that. Where is the relevance? There is relevance to where we are. We just may not be able to see it if we are only present in one potential. Thank you. That's the key this week. Being aware that what potential we are actually present in at any given time. So my dog is at the vets today, and he's having an operation of a physical growth that can actually be seen, which feels very poignant as well as we enter this week to really look at what areas have grown and how we perceive them. So I was talking to some really good friends of mine today, talking about openly, which is a big thing for me, openly expressing my ability to not just send energy to a situation or think of people, but to actually be in that situation and be present where I am. And I have had the confirmation of that from many people, from dreams and situations where they've seen me in that area. So astral traveling, whatever you want to call it. But today what mattered was being aware of that skill, being aware of that gift, seeing it as a gift, not something I would have done many years ago. It was always seen as being, makes me very emotional, ungrounded, unembodied, unpresent. If I had £1 for the amount of times that I was guided that I needed to bring down my energy, to tone it down, to be more grounded in what was going on, all well-meaning comments, but all also triggering, or rather attracting, this belief in me that I was too much. That my energy was too much, that it was too this, too that, too high, too all over the place, too dreamy, too wishful thinking, too naive, all of these things. My dog being poorly, or rather, again, that's my assumption, because he's really not, he's very fit and healthy. My dog having this lump on his lip has really brought to light where I actually am in regards to this gift, and it is a gift. For whatever reasons throughout the last few decades, feel very emotional, my ability to hold space, my ability to bring light to a situation, my ability to lighten that situation has almost been crushed. And yes, I can say by external circumstances this happened, I didn't fit in, blah, 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 by myself. And I was really feeling into that today, how quickly I give up any hope of a different outcome based on the expertise of others. You know, the vets have said that the growth on my dog's lip doesn't look very good, and to basically brace myself. And I've taken that on as gospel, as the only truth. It is part of the truth. I'm not bypassing what is evident in front of me. It is part of the truth. My dog has a growth on his lip, and it doesn't look nice, and it is growing quite rapidly, which is why he's in the vets, right? However, taking on board just that truth, my mind has run ahead, and you name it, I know where I'm going to put its ashes, boom, worst case scenario, which is something I'm really good at preparing myself for worst case scenario. What I found not so strong in me anymore was the ability to think, what if? The ability to hope, to have that faith. And yes, I can look back, and again, very emotional, I can look back, especially with the loss of my mother and my other dog and my cat and some of the things that have occurred for us all, right, over the last few years, and see where that faith has been worn thin all the time I've put it in external forces or expecting a certain outcome. But when I look at what is actually going on in front of me, when I am present in all elements of the truth, my dog's truth included, he's running around like a puppy. He's very happy. He's eating like a horse. He's, coming up for, he's well over 11 years old. I can't even remember how old, but well over 11 years old. He's gone against the grain. It was estimated that he would live to about 7 or 8 because he's a large breed. He's a Wolfhound cross, so he's really gone against the odds, and he's continuing to do that. A little bit like myself throughout the years, and a part of myself that I've lost somewhere along the line. And my dog, with everything going on with him this week, has really brought that to the surface. And it's been communication, thank you, full circle. It's been communication that I didn't want to hear. It's been things that I didn't want to face. It's been feelings that I didn't want to feel. It's been fears and doubts and existential crisis, you name it. It's been there these last few weeks, but it's been needed. Why? I'm being prepared, like us all, for the energy that is coming next year. I've already stepped into it with my birthday at 44, stepping into the 8 energy, the strength card, the star card. We would have all felt it from July, August time anyway. Things that occurred there would have really made us look at our own faith, our own hope, our own connection to something not beyond us but within us and everything. I've sat talking to my friends today, and I realised what I'd disconnected from was my belief in God, whatever you want to call God. And I found myself calling God Great Spirit. I found myself calling God Source, my higher self, really not bringing the energy down, but making it more relevant to the people that I was speaking to, which is beautiful. But then also downplaying this divine energy. Really looking at where I'd done that over the last few years to fit in. Recognizing that God is within us all. That this energy of creation, of potential, of source, of love, of healing, of everything, all encompassing. It's not called unnameable for no reason. It's within us all. And to really look at the relationship that I have with that. That we will all be guided to do that from now until next year, but particularly into next year, to keep an eye on our animal family who will show us this. I'm designing, even that I've lost a bit of oomph in. I'm designing a set of cards, and they're very trippy. When I'm designing them, I'm embodying them. I'm, becoming them. I'm journeying with them. And there's no coincidence that the Hierophant card on one side bears the image of my dog, bears the eye of my dog. I knew that this was coming 8-9 months ago when I designed that card. I didn't know what, but I knew. And that's going to be really poignant this week. If we can really feel into the communication that's coming, we're going to know that actually it was part of what was occurring at the beginning of the year. It was part of the whole journey. It's part of our whole soul's evolution. It's part of how we connect to that energy. It's part of our divinity, and it wants to be heard in as many ways as possible. How we connect, how we silence it, how we embrace it, how we create with that energy. Because next year we do have the star card. We do have the awareness of really feeling into our own divinity, really feeling into how willing we are to communicate with that, really feeling our own expression of the feminine through everything that we form as a result. And how aligned that is to the star card, the other side of that, the vision that is held for us individually and collectively, our potential. This morning with the daily guidance, I'm aware of the time, so it's only 10 minutes. I wasn't aware of the time actually. I thought it'd taken longer. Isn't that interesting? We can really feel like things are taking forever, but if we just take a step back and really see where we are in our own growth, we can go, oh, that wasn't that long actually. Yesterday I saw a few posts of things that I'd wished for nearly a decade ago that are now occurring, but also some mammoth shifts in who I am. Again, I feel quite emotional. I remember being back in those times, and that's the beauty with expanding our presence from not only the now but to encompass everything. I remember being back in those times feeling as if it would never end, having the lowest point of hope, questioning everything, who I am, my reality, everything, and never feeling as if I was going to get out of it. And yet 10 years down the line, things aren't perfect, but they are better. They are better. They may not feel like it, but they really are. I am stronger. I am more connected to who I am. And this week that feels really beautiful. Whatever is happening, especially with the stuff that feels familiar, really feeling into where you are and seeing how strong you have become. And then addressing what is occurring from that, not from where you were. Because that's like the ultimate completion. I say completion, it's never ending, right? But that's the ultimate turning of the circle. Yeah, it's that wheel of fortune. We can either turn it upwards and go, yes, this is where I am, or we can not quite see that and go down and receive some more insights, some more, not triggers, attractions, some more reactions in our body that are willing to give us some information about where we are in the situation that's happening in front of us. This morning, the last thing I will say, the morning is the last thing I will say. This morning, a lot of the guidance that I got was to step back and to trust the energies that I work with, to really allow them to come to the situation rather than feeling like I'm doing it all on my own. Now, when I do healing for somebody else, I can get out of the way. Quite easy. This video, as you can see, I get out of the way, whatever needs to come through. None of these videos are ever planned. When it comes to receiving what I need, I'm wary still. I am wary still, and it's being very present in that wariness, very aware of where I'm absent. Yeah, very aware of things that I still need to connect to. And that's going to be poignant for us all this week. What are we still doubting? Where are we still a little bit cautious? Is that necessary? And why? This morning I know I am cautious because of my own belief in the energies that I'm working with, my own trust, my own ability to receive the love that they are, that ultimately I am, because I'm not seeing myself from where I truly am. Being aware of that this week, when you feel into whatever is occurring, where are you experiencing it from? One of the most divine things in the Strength card is divine timing, and that means to be aware of everything that has occurred, including where you are and your potential. So where are you receiving this video? Any communication, any guidance, any love, where are you receiving it from? There's no judgment there. It feels like the moment we can acknowledge, okay, I'm actually taking that on board in a really difficult place right now, and it's causing a reaction in me that I don't like. Yeah, or I'm feeling unsafe with that message, or I'm being distracted by noises in the background and people wanting my energy, so I can only take that on at a certain level. Just noticing that and not trying to give more than you're able or receive more than you're able. You can't force this process. It's love, right? It has to feel safe. It has to feel true. It has to feel genuine to your experience and where you are. Relatable. Now, is my cat going to go down the stairs, or is she going to stay at the top? Well, she's calling to let me know she's going down the stairs. She's actually calling for the dog, I think. Okay, we'll see. Let me just have a sip of my tea. And then what I'm going to do is just go and let her outside quickly. So she actually wanted to go outside, and I'm finding myself having to catch my breath to really feel into what is needed and to catch our breath, to listen to that response. There seems a possibility of making everything a message this week. Everything is a message. Its relevance is up to us, and we can get really caught up in that, and that can almost cloud. It feels related to the new moon, and I don't know what the new moon sign is in, but it feels very cloudy. It can almost blur our vision. So whatever communication is received this week, really taking a deep breath in, letting it go, and feeling if it resonates, and if so, where, before we jump ahead and go, that must be for me, that must be for me. Okay, I'm seeing an image here of a lot of readings being done. If you see this, this is for you. Make of that what you will. Just because you see something doesn't mean it's for you to take on board as gospel. Okay, so if you see this video and some of it triggers you, attracts you, you think, oh yeah, actually I can relate, great. If not, great. It doesn't mean you have to follow the pure guidance of what someone else is saying just because you happen to see it in that moment. Which was unexpected. I was not expecting to say that, and it came from listening to what my cat needed, and she needed to be outside. She needed to be heard, and she needed to be grounded, and that feels quite relevant for me and for the energies this week. To be heard, to be grounded in that, and to know that the more grounded we are when we're heard, the more we're able to listen to what is going on. Okay, with that in mind, I'm going to use the Wildwood Tarot. I haven't really worked with this deck. I've worked with the original, which I've had for a few years. But yeah, I haven't actually worked with this deck a lot. What I like is it's got written underneath, wherein wisdom resides. The wild within us. So for some reason, what is the reason then? Okay, I'm being drawn to the wreath above the door, and it reminds me of Christmas, and actually it reminds me of the solstice, and I feel like by that point, yes, that is when the light is returning, and I'm being drawn to the light on the hermit's lamp. But actually, when we go within, when we really feel what is occurring for us, when we really go into the wilderness of our own emotions, yes, next year it is the strength card. Yes, we are going to get some messages from our animal family, but what about our own animal instinct, our own animus as well? It's all going to be reflections of that. And when we can do that, when we can really go within and listen, yes, okay, from now until the solstice, there's going to be some clarity and some light returning on particular subjects, but the solstice can be occurring within us at every time by going into the darkness and seeking out that light and bringing it forward, the masculine light, into our actions. So this week in particular, really going into what are we sensing, what are we feeling, especially the darker situations, the darker scenarios, the bits we might not want to face. This morning, like, Kirsty, it's about your connection to God. Oh wow. Something small then. Yeah, really, that's what I'm going to be working with. Okay, yeah, marvelous. And it's about your ability to hold hope and faith in dire situations. Oh, lovely. But knowing that if I go within that, actually it's nothing I didn't already know, it's nothing I didn't already feel. I felt out of alignment with that. I felt like I wasn't where I used to be anymore. So recognizing that this week, but also recognizing that our emotions are an opportunity to really go into the river of what is occurring and just cross that threshold into a world of potential, into realms of other scenarios, other outcomes. And that's where we find hope. If we believe everything that we're told, believe this video included, believe everything, oh, if you've seen this, it's for you, you know, believe if we believed everything that a professional had told us, and I'm not downplaying professional advice, what I'm saying is nothing takes over your own intuition. Nothing replaces what you know about yourself and your truth and what you can see, negatively and positively. So someone can say to you, it's going to be okay, and you know, I've got you, you're safe. If you don't believe that, if that isn't your truth, for whatever reason, it may not be not safe, or it may be that your past has said no situation is ever going to be safe. If your truth isn't in alignment with what you are being faced with, you're always going to have the stronger energy there over your own life because it's your truth. Okay, so it doesn't matter this week how many times people promise to be what you're looking for. It doesn't matter this week how much help you are given. It doesn't matter this week how much you seek aid and you get the answers that you're looking for. If they go against what you are choosing to believe about your life, they will never change your opinion because they're not supposed to. It's your opinion. It's your intuition. It's your inner tuition. It's based on your lessons. It's up to us to decide how we choose to perceive that education. I can quite easily say, yes, my dog has a growth on his lip, and he does, and it doesn't bode well, and they may not be able to take it off, and he's an old dog, and he's gone under general anaesthetic. But as equally, easily, I could say he's a strong lad. He's running around like a puppy, and if he's meant to survive this, he will. You know, it's up to us where we choose to put our focus this week. And that's going to really bring to light our connection to the world that we're creating, to ourselves as creators, and to the creator within us all. A lot of the reasons I go for worst case scenario is because I have been brought up to believe in a punishing God. Only the good die young, right? Just when you're happy, everything bad happens, and oh, I don't want to get my hopes up, and you know, and then there's the fearing our gifts. I was talking to my friend the other day about the amount of times I've been offered exorcisms in my life to remove evil energies that I'm possessed with, or you know, certain devices, implants, you name it. I've had some incredible fearful based thoughts projected onto me and reflected from me, and that's the honest opinion, that's the honest truth for me. They were speaking what I felt about what I was going through at the time, and being really aware of that, being really aware of the relationship that we have to God, to this creative force that is within each and everything. How do we see that? Because how we see that is going to affect how we see ourselves, each other, and the world. Okay, so it doesn't feel like Christ consciousness, but it feels like it's trying to return stronger. What I feel is like the Christ consciousness trying to return stronger with the feminine alongside and part of now, not separate. And it's not even a sacred union, it's beyond that. It's like the Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity. Yeah. Like holy shit. It's the Holy Trinity trying to return here. The power of three. How we view karma, how we view magic, just creation, full stop. How we view creation. Okay, so energies this week. I wouldn't say the world's our oyster. I wouldn't say it's like, oh, let's just get out there. Yeah, King of Stones here, King of Pentacles, the wolf energy. I wouldn't say the world's our oyster. Fuck it, let's just go for it. We can have whatever we want. No, of course not. There's always a universal law that goes beyond anything that we could understand on a physical level. There's a communication, a howl, if you will, that is very ethereal, that runs through everything. But well worth this week becoming grounded in the creations that we physically manifest. How? By asking, acting on what we receive, seeing and recognizing we are part of the outcome, but also not taking it all on board ourselves. Is it co-collaboration? It's beyond co-collaboration now. We've gone beyond co-collaboration. We've gone beyond the secret wish list, vision boards. Not to say that they aren't powerful tools. They are very powerful tools. We've gone beyond the cause and effect of being aware of the outcome. So what is it? It's a I can't give it a name. There's a new way of, a new yet old way of manifesting. It's very primal, needs-based, supply and demand, truthful way of manifesting here. And I'm starting to think, well, is it truthful if I want my dog to get better, or is that just my ego? And I'm feeling into it this week. Where's it coming from? It's coming from my heart. It's coming from my heart, and therefore it is my heart's desire and it is my truth. Letting that howl and open us up and ground us into the very things that we're creating. Where are these yearnings coming from? Where are they coming from? You know, really sensing into the body and grounding into that. Okay, energies this week. Gosh, it feels very, I was going to say spaced out, healing, no, celestial. The energies feel really celestial and very relaxed with that, which is unusual for me. Those that know me, even though I've done a lot of training with, I even stumbled on my words then, training with celestial energies, I'm not cautious, but like to apply it to physical life. Otherwise it's a potential for me, which is what celestial energies have always been. But this week it really feels like there's a comfort in working with higher energies, a grounding, a union, a physical connection to them, an embodiment of celestial energies. So underneath the pack we have the Six of Cups, reunion. So the Six of Cups is normally the inner child, and yes, I do feel a bit of joy there, and I do feel a bit of the inner child, but it feels as if we've almost separated from the magic of innocence, experienced the hardships of reality, and returned to a union of both, of a mature innocence here, a mature knowing, a real earthy high vibration. That's what it really feels like. So overall we do have the Nine of Swords, or the Nine of Arrows in this deck, and in this one it's called dedication, and it's like all those things we've tried to achieve, all those things that hadn't quite turned out how we would have liked. I don't know if that's my glasses blurring or the camera. Okay, no, it was the camera. Really recognizing that it isn't our sight and our vision that we couldn't quite see. It's the external environments around us, waiting for them all to come into play. Knowing that these arrows aren't wasted, they're going off to where they need to be, but ensuring that we hold on to that one thing that we're willing to dedicate ourselves to. Because, yeah, that one thing is our God. That one thing is our belief, our hope, our faith. For me, that one thing is love. It's always been love. Much as I struggle with it, much as years ago I would have been like, ugh, chemical reaction, da 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 da. Yeah, it's always been love. Finding your one thing and really dedicating everything that you have to it this week is going to help in those moments where it feels like, well, we've gone for this and that didn't work. We've gone for that and that didn't work. What's the underlying theme? What do they all have in common? Really, really connecting to that. So I'm not actually surprised that the energy this week has suggested that and as we go into next year, that we look at our own connection to our ability to create. It's everything I've been about my whole life, from midwifery through to healing. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that that's going to be one of the things to rebuild. And that feels poignant, to remember that yes, next year is the strength year, but this year at the moment we are in the Tower year, we are in the Chariot year still, even though it feels like it's been a long one still. And what happens after the Tower? We start to rebuild. Coming up to the latter part of the year, what do we need to rebuild? Not necessarily circumstances, but our own views behind them, our own views behind everything that has happened and what we've discovered as a result. So on the Monday we have the Three of Cups, the Three of Vessels. We have joy here. We have a new beginning, a birth here on the Monday. Is there anything else that I want to say about that? Recognizing that all cups are different. I love this card. All cups are different. So we have a green one, we have a gold one, we have a glass one. But they're all cups. All deliveries are different. All beginnings are different. All ways to celebrate. All aspects of joy are different. Sometimes joy for me is getting up in the morning and my back doesn't hurt. Now I know that sounds like, but it's my truth. Today, joy will be when I have that phone call to say that my dog is well, that they got the lump off and that I can come and pick him up. Yeah, joy, sometimes in our cup we just need the smallest amount, and other times we need it overflowing. Really recognizing on the Monday not only what brings you joy, but what level of joy you now require to regain that faith. Sometimes if we're being tempted by carrots or fed by breadcrumbs, whether that's in a relationship or our own beliefs, or if we've tried to manifest something and something comes through and it's close but it isn't quite, and we've accepted it and it brought us joy but now it isn't fulfilling us, the cup has changed. What you need now is more of whatever's going to bring you the strength, the joy, the hope, the belief in yourself to deliver what is needed. What do you need in your cup on the Monday? My chair just went, my chair's squeaking away. On the Tuesday, we have the Judgment card, and in this deck, it's called the Great Bear. I can really relate to this energy. I've this month gone to a concert last month now, gone to a concert of Narco Bear, and that came as a result of me following my desires. I entered a competition and won a figurine called the Mother Bear, which again was following my instinct, my intuition, and my dog I call Bear, even though his name is Jax. And there's been so much, as I say, coming up about how I view what it is I want and what I'm willing to receive in order to get that. There's a lot of judgments on the Tuesday in regards to who we are, how safe we feel being seen, coming out of our cave, perhaps a need to even go into our cave, to think, oh gosh, right, I need to reflect on that. If we think back to the hermit type energy, I need to reflect on that. I need to go into these bits that are showing themselves to be seen. I need to look at perhaps why I don't trust that or can't connect to that or whatever. But being aware of your reason behind it and the judgments behind it and the medicine behind it. So bear medicine I'm just starting to really look into, because I've had a few totems that have appeared in my life and they're changing from the wolf now to the bear. And bear medicine is very nurturing, very ferocious, yes, very grounded, very powerful, but also very nurturing, and also very much about bringing in different energies, different scenarios, different stories now. How do we feel about that? I know that if I feel into the world that I believe in my core, if I feel into the world not being a punishing place and it being a beautiful place, and the love that is there, if I really feel into that, it's quite frightening. One, I think about all the grief of not living that life for as long as I have. And I'm grateful. I have done it quite a lot, but there have been times when I haven't, relationships where I haven't, and, you know, situations where I haven't. Two, I then feel into the overwhelming joy that is available, and my concern of, you know, really building that up and then falling. And this week it feels quite poignant to look into all the changes that have happened this year. If we can rebuild from that, are we going to be able to rebuild as high as we potentially can, or are we always going to be cautious based on the judgments that we may have around everything that has happened? And if so, maybe it's just a chance to go into them and have a little look. Knowing that you're protected, that this is part of the journey, it's part of the reflective process. Because then what do we have on the Wednesday? We have the pole star, we have the star card. We have an insight into the vision that awaits us. And I really love how it looks like. On the Tuesday we enter this, where are we? Where are we? On the Tuesday we enter this space and we're guarded and we're protected. And on the Wednesday it's like we've either gone deeper in or we're starting to come out. Is there a difference? You know, the deeper into something we go, the more we experience something, the closer we are becoming to leaving behind what initiated that descent in the first place. Recognizing on the Wednesday the guiding force that is taking us forward, the why. I cannot stress this enough. What is your why? What is that thing that as a child you would say, but why? But why? Your curiosity, if we can really work towards our visions with that energy, I wonder what that is. If we can really utilize that frequency rather than, oh God, what is that? It just changes the dynamics on the Wednesday. You know, this woods becomes a lot less scary. It's lit. We're lit. We know where we're going. You know, we become the bear. We become the guardian. We step into that real protective energy of our journey, of our own path. And on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are going to kind of mold into one. On the Thursday, we have the Three of Bows. We have fulfillment there. So a real Kundalini awakening, a healing, a connection to not only the earth and the more Hucha, denser based energies, but our Sami and the light here. A real, okay, that's what it was all about. Now I have all the hidden aspects in my shadow as well. And I just sensed a huge energy coming up behind me, like a real protective, like that tree. And it feels like ancestors, and it feels that whatever it is that's behind us is there to be grounded and rooted into our path. Everything we've experienced isn't there for us to stay there, but to know, yeah, we've experienced that. Not to look back and go, oh my God, that's what we've been through. But wow, look at that grounded, protective energy that we have now through everything that we've experienced, and allowing that to give us the fulfillment that we search for, the masculine and the feminine. That bow of dedication now becomes the very vessel that is held by Source. Whatever you want to call Source, your soul, your higher self, everything we have become becomes the vessel. Okay. So yes, that's where I'm getting this new way of manifestation now. It is one of the things I recognized this morning in my not trusting was that by not trusting I could put myself down lower, I could be, can I have help please, rather than equal pegging with the energies that I was connecting to. And that really feels poignant this week, if we can stand up and match what is going on and recognize our worth in a situation. This manifestation that's coming through, we are being used as the vessel. And when I say used, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean, we are being expanded to hold this potential in our actions. We are being directed. Okay, on the Friday, we have the Stag. Now, in this deck, the Strength card is actually Justice, the original position before it was changed. And that feels quite poignant to remember that as we go into next year, yes, okay, we are going into the Strength card. As we feel into our emotions and we listen to what's going on and we really connect to our own divinity, what is happening there is we are restoring balance, equilibrium. We are bringing the justice that we have been searching for into our own lives. Now, this little character has an axe here, but it also reminds me of a ratchet. And I'm hearing the phrase, terrible as it is, bury, not a ratchet, a hatchet, bury the hatchet. So time to really make amends on the Friday with, you know, that energy of the tree, that energy of the past that's behind us. It's being used as a shield, which is fine, but it could also be a drum. It could be used to restore harmony to many, many situations on the Friday. Really, I'm just going to say it, growing up and looking at everything that's happened, becoming your own karma, becoming the karma of situations that may not have turned out the way that we like, by really looking at where we have caused the imbalances, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others. I feel the Ho'oponopono prayer really, really important on the Friday. Looking at where we're using our past to defend ourselves, where we're using our past to keep making the same noise, banging the same drum. There's a real stern, stubborn look on that individual's face on the Friday, a defiant look. But what I'm seeing is the brooch on his coat as the Holy Trinity, but allowing that to be the bridge. I'm hearing the phrase, it's not personal. That can feel so derogatory, so, what do you mean it's not personal? It was personal to me. Yeah, okay. But it's not personal. The past, the present, the future, the Holy Trinity, what's holding it all together here is the ability to create something new. And to do that, yeah, it happened, it's relevant, it's part of who we are, but it isn't all of who we are. And when I say it's not personal, what I mean is it's not everything. It's not our only part of our story. And I can really relate to that with my tendency to go towards a more negative outcome because of everything that has happened. It becomes personal when we make it the only influence on our lives, when we make it personal to us. So on the Saturday we have two cards, and we have the Seven of Wands, clearance, and we have the Green Woman or the Empress. And by the Saturday I'm feeling quite tired. It's been or will be an intense week. Okay, so being very, very aware of that when it comes to clearing things out, using everything that has occurred now, everything that we've tried to aim for, everything that hasn't quite come to fruition, really cutting it down, transforming through it, and making tools, making tools from it all. That's how, you know, there's many ways when it comes to something being personal, and I'm not suggesting that we forget it. I'm not suggesting that we shake off the relevance of it. I'm saying use it. Use it constructively. Create magic. Transform what has occurred by really finding the medicine in that, by building the bows, the arrows of what you do want, what you do want to aim for. And that's going to cause a huge clearance in what you're creating. The Green Woman there. in your feminine, the light. Can't get the light out of the way, but anyway, in your feminine, in what you're creating there, in your own sacral emotional energy. Beautiful, beautiful card. And on the Sunday, we have the Five of Cups and the Four of Stones. Now, normally in other decks, the Four of Stones can be very much what are we holding on to? But in this beautiful deck, it's protection. What are we protecting here? There's a little deer, which is the divine feminine. We're finding a safe space to reconnect to what this energy is. And we have the Five of Cups, which is normally grief in other decks. In this deck, it's ecstasy. You see those okay? Ah, there we are. It's dancing with the experiences. Holding space for them. Giving them a place that feels safe enough to be felt, to be heard, to be seen, to be cared and nurtured for. So overall, I'm realising I haven't drunk any of my tea. There are 1, 2, 3. really difficult to separate the major and minor arcanas this week. Really difficult to separate from the things that are out of our hands, destiny, fate, to the things that we on a human level are being guided to act on. And that almost feels as if that line is going to get blurrier as the years, but as the months go on, that line, that distinction, that separation between us and destiny, us and major fates and creation is going to become more and more narrow as the months and years go on. The major arcanas that we do have, there are 4, which is solid foundation here, and also recognizing where we see things outside of us as restrictive, our view of them. Do they help us to expand? Do they help us feel solid, secure, safe, able to build upon? Or is there that, oh, I need to play small because holier than thou is out there and I'm little old human me? That's being really asked to be looked at this week, subconsciously as well. So there can be things going on for us that we don't even realize. There can be secondary gains, hidden agendas in our subconscious that are convincing us to play small, especially in regards to how we view our own ability to create things. Really sensing into that. So an example, I did have an example and it's just gone. It's gone out of my head. Oh, it's completely gone. So yes, 4 major arcanas. We have Judgment, we have the Star card, we have the Stag or Justice, and we have the Green Woman or the Empress. Really looking at the views that we have on our own potential. The truth that we need to stand in order to create them. By playing small, we haven't got to create any of them. By playing small, we can almost be that, not victim mentality, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't even feel like a martyr now. It feels... humility has been taken out of context. Humility has been, it's become very holy in, oh no, it's fine. No, that's not humility. Humility is almost taking a whole turn now and becoming more sacred in its view, in how we view ourselves and the humbleness of experiencing this life. Humility was never about playing small. Humility was about realizing just how vast the vision of us is and the honor that it is to walk it. But that comes with judgments, right? When we stand in who we are, when we stand in our truth and our authenticity, that can really come with some judgments reflected back to us of our own. So really being aware of that this week. Is our view, even little things like, oh, if I create that, there's going to be consequences. Being so, the finest tweak this week is going to be so important. I hear the word butterfly effect, the finest tweak of where our thoughts are. I'm really watching them. Speaking to my husband the other day, I've been talking a lot about my dog with my phone in the background, and we all know Big Brother is watching, right? and my phone in the background, and then I went onto a particular social media platform and I'm scrolling through. I allow myself 20 minutes sometimes to just scroll through and post things that I enjoy. And I'm scrolling through and I've been talking about dogs, and next thing I know I'm getting all these videos about dogs, which is fine, but then dog attacks. And I'm mesmerised, I'm caught up in this, and I have to stop myself and think, actually, do I want to focus on this? Yes, maybe my attention has been drawn there for a reason. I now know what to do in a dog attack. But actually, do I need to keep focusing on this? Life is the same. I actually said to my husband, I'm going to use my brain as a TikTok reel. Do I want that one, or should I just scroll on, scroll on, scroll on? So this week, really being mindful of little reels that are playing out in your head that you may not even realise you're watching. May not even realise that you're hearing, and deciding which ones you want to concentrate on and which ones you just want to scroll on past. Are they helping you now? Are they helping you rebuild a more solid, secure foundation, or are they familiar ways of boxing yourself in? Harsh, but there are a few truths to be faced over the next few months. Okay, why? Because on a minor arcana level we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 1 to one side, but we have 7 overall. That feels valid to recognise that the bits that we put to one side we have reunited with. It's not to say we're scrolling through them because we don't care, or we're scrolling through them because we want to get rid of them. We're scrolling through them because actually right now there's nothing for me to gain by watching this reel. Right now it's not helping the situation. The amount of times I went into the most negative situation for my dog in my mind. Yes, I managed to get insight into how I felt, how frightened I was, loss. Yes, I managed to realise that actually love goes beyond all time and space, and really feel into that. And yes, I did all of that. And then there came a point where there was nothing I could gain from going over that reel anymore. All it was doing was exhausting and grinding me down. So being very aware when you're scrolling through, when you're saying that's not relevant, I don't want to look at that. There's a difference between bypassing something and saying, I'm done with that. I've brought that back. I can see why I would do that. I can see why I watched them. I can see why that algorithm was important to me, but it isn't anymore. Come on, guys, if artificial intelligence can do it, we can do it too. So, okay, in order to bring harmony and to take it to that next level, it is a 7. There are 7 cards there. It's going to take some endurance. It's going to take some perseverance and dedication. And that is what we have with the 9 of arrows. The dedication card, you know, all these times when we think nothing's changing, how dedicated are we being to what is going on around, and how much we believe in ourselves to change things? Yeah, it's really down to how much graft we're going to put in to our experiences. We have 1, that's an arrow, only the 1 arrow? Yes, okay. 1 arrow card this week, and it is the 9 of arrows. It is that dedication. So that Ace of Swords, really, what am I dedicating my thoughts to, my energy to, my emotions to? I can be aware energetically that I'm doing this video, but that I'm also reading for the energies this week, but actually they haven't happened at the moment, and I'm also energetically aware of my dog. I can do that. Any more than that, I may be stretching myself. I'm dedicating myself to that. So when I do a healing, I'm dedicating myself to that energy. What are you dedicating yourself to this week, and how thin are you stretching yourself? Do you feel as if your own attention, your own thoughts, your own vibration is all over the place? Does that work for you? If it doesn't, bring it back. I work this way. It kind of works for me. Not all the time, but it kind of works for me. What works for you works for you. Bring it back to that. Dedicate yourself to what works for you, not what everyone else thinks, not what everyone else does. Dedicate yourself to your own path, your own connection this week. So we then have 1, 2 cup cards. Beautiful balance, beautiful union here. between joy and ecstasy, the Three of Cups and the Five of Cups, really dancing with our experiences. It's that's going to bring us joy, really embodying the movement here needed, celebrating what has occurred. You know, regardless what happens today, there has been so many lessons. I have explored so much and I feel really reconnected in a different way, celebrating what has occurred here, recognizing that it's going to be different every time. Those celebrations might be minute, they might only need to be little, they might be huge things that we have to really soak up, that we have to really drink up, that we have to really top up, and acknowledging the difference between that. Okay, we then have 2 wand cards. Again, a beautiful balance here, the 3 of Wands and the 7 of Wands. That moving forward, that fulfillment comes from clearance. That moving forward comes from taking everything that has happened and using it. Walking through now by transforming everything that has occurred and using them as tools. Reuniting with the lessons, the medicine, the experiences. And we have 1 Pentacle card, which is the 4 of Stones. This is where I do actually see the 4 of Pentacles for what it is as well. The other side of it, they're not wanting to come out. They're feeling safe where we are. And there's no judgment there. You need to feel safe. You need to feel safe in order to reconnect. You need to feel safe in order to find the tools. You need to feel safe to find the medicine. So what is going to help you feel safe this week? I'm not for any incidents suggesting that you let go of feeling safe, secure, loved and held and nurtured. What I'm suggesting is that might have changed. What you need might have changed, and that it is your responsibility to look after and protect that version of yourself. So 40 minutes and then we've got the extra 20 minutes. We're going to have 1 card overall for the energies this week. And we have the 2 of Swords and the Page of Cups. I'm going to look at those 2 together because what I'm seeing here is all out of my hands. It's all out of my hands, and it feels really unfair that it's out of my hands. You know, but being aware of that universal balance that's around us. Not blinding ourselves to that, but blinding ourselves to our thought process, to really going into our heart, to knowing that things are creating within us as a result. And ultimately, we have our foot on the arrow, on the bow. Ultimately, it's up to us what we take aim for. The other card that we have is the Page of Cups, the Otter. I just love how he's patiently looking at things that can't even be seen yet. If only we could see everything like that. If only we could blind ourselves to what is in front of us and feel into those things that we can't even see yet, and hold space for that, allowing them to be the unknown all the time. They're the unknown rather than figuring them out. The difference that would actually make this week is going to restore the balance we've been searching for within us. Having peace with the not knowing is what's actually going to bring us back to the core of all the things that we do know. Take care. Have the most wonderful, wonderful week.